everybody. Thank you for inviting me for Basic Culinary Center. I'm looking forward to be with you in video, and it must be in video. It could be much better if I could go to you and we could be in live, but that's not possible when we have this Corona. So we have to thanks for the video. I'll start to say that my English is not so good, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you. And if you have any questions, please interrupt me, and I'll try to do my best.
If you don't mind, we will make a small introduction of you. I mean, you deserve at least a small introduction before going on.
Yes, that's fine.
I'm going on work. I mean. You're pushing hard. So no, thank you very much for being here. Thank you everyone to be here as well. Well, as you know, we are celebrating also our 10th anniversary, educating young people, passionate people as professionals. So we are very happy to have you here as a great example of gastronomy shapers. We are always looking for passionate people, and especially for women, you know, because I think we need also to have some inspiration, not only for the students in general, but also for the young women professionals that are starting their career. So for us, it's really interesting. And what I love, and I have been hearing loads from you, from Michelangelo, is especially that you have been able to do something that is really difficult, or I think most of our students think it's really difficult to do in the gastronomy sector. That is like not only taking into account that you have to cook tasty foods, sustainable food, but also trying to feed hundreds, thousands of people. And sometimes we think that that's not possible. The combination is not possible. And what I love about your case, and I'm dying to hear it from you, is how you can manage and merge all these things together and make big things, make small things, and follow your passion all around those years. So let me introduce you to Michelangelo, that you already know. I know that he's not only a friend, but a fan of you as well. And probably, Michelangelo, are you there? Thank you very much for being with us.
I am here. I will change my camera, so I'm here. Hey, again. Yes, thank you, Isa. And Merete, once again, welcome. And they are all yours. So please, just go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes. You know the agenda, I guess, because you all have it sent, so I don't think I will go through that. So just let's jump out of it. A little bit about me. I'm a chef by myself, but I will actually start when I was born. It's many years ago, as you can see. It was in 1966, and I grew up in a normally family in the 16 and 80s industry. My mother was a nurse and my father was unskilled labor, and everything was normal as everything was similar to jeg kan simpelthen ikke se det her, fordi sorry. However, my parents was from the countryside themselves. I come from a home where my mother cooked a lot. Everything was fresh. We have a big garden with a lot of vegetables and fruit, and we get meat from the farmer, big meat, and put it in the freezer, you know. So it was healthy and it was so good. But in college, I met a new friends. And in their home, there we discussed the art, and they were eating French food, actually. So I must say, and when I taste that food, it was based on the same produce, most of it, but it was tasting different. It was tasting fantastic. So I was wondering what was the technique behind this French cuisine, because that my mom never learned me or herself. So at that moment, actually, I met to love my life, and I promised myself to go with the taste. So that also means that I had to join D'Angleterre, and D'Angleterre is where I was the student from. And it's a hotel, D'Angleterre. It's the most iconic hotel in Copenhagen. And in Denmark, it takes 4 years to be educated as a chef. At that hotel, we at that time was 40 students. And we had a chef going. We go with one chef, all 40 students. We had one chef for 3 months, and then we changed. So you can imagine there was many chefs at the hotel with different kind of skills, and it was totally amazing to be there because everything was fresh. 3 months in the bakery, 3 months in the pastry, 3 months in functions, 3 months in a la carte, and so on. And every week the food was flying in from all over the world, many things from France. We had live lobsters, truffle, and it was in season, blood ducks, if you remember that. And this was before nobody thought about taking care of animals. So we were only here at that moment taking care of the taste and the flavor. Everything was available, and when you were a student in D'Angleterre, I must say, all opportunity to learn and become the best, it was on your feet. So I learned a lot about taste and flavor, and I never stopped being amazing. And therefore, at that, I have always, the taste has also always been the driver in everything what I do, because it's the first thing. Because if it doesn't taste good, yeah, then it doesn't matter. So if you can have that in your mind, even where you go with your food, think about it has to taste good. Kan man ikke fjerne de der kameraer? Det er fordi, jeg kunne ikke se halvdelen af teksten. But actually, at the same time, I was starting to be interested in how to. Come here. I'm so sorry, but I had some technical problems. Sorry, I fix it now. I was interested to know how to create more value for more people with the taste, because when I was in D'Angleterre, it was very expensive to go there, and it was very high end, and it was for the few. And I was thinking, how could I use what the handmanship within Top Gourmet cooking had learned me? How could I put that in lower cost for the produce and put a lot of craftsmanship in it and bring it to more people? So this life change I got myself, I would love to bring that out for more people, because the taste is doing something in your mind if it's good enough. So that was my mission. So my next job actually was at a hospital where I became a head chef in a hospital in Vestjylland. It's called, in Denmark. And the funny thing here was, it was not a high building. It was nearly a little town, you could say it. And in the kitchen, we were 45 employees. And when I started, we started a revolution, because if you have know something about hospitals, there's a lot of waste. I was wondering why was the waste so big, and I really think that it's because the taste was not good. Because in a hospital there are a lot of nutritionists people, so they know everything about that you have the right things for your health you need to have, and for the sick people and so on. But if it doesn't taste good, then who think about the nutrition, because it go into the garbage. And I also must say that when we started to make the new recipe for how to prepare the food, it was a very, very long and difficult process in a hospital, because we have to measure the nutrition exactly. And that means when you normally are a chef, then you just, when you prepare the food, you just taste the food and do something with it if it doesn't taste good. But you're not allowed to do that if it are going to eat this, because you have promised some carbohydrates, calories in the right points, so in the right numbers. So therefore, after ending everyday production, then we have a tasting place where we taste the food and evaluate it. And I remember I asked, it was sometimes so awful how the taste was, and I remember I told, who have made this? It's me. And they were and what do you think about it? They couldn't, they didn't like to be honest. They were so nervous. And I said, I think it tastes like shit. And when then some were crying or whatever it was, I don't know how to explain it, but then I asked, did you following the recipes? Yes, I follow it. Okay. Then it's not about you, then it's about the recipe. The recipe. So far so good. And then we have to laugh instead of crying, because we have to change this. So that was, but it took times for them to know me, and I guess that they really think that I was a tough guy, tough girl, tough woman, and saying to them that it doesn't taste good. I'm sorry. But we have to change our mindset to preparing the food and the recipe. So that was a very long process to change so many things, so many meals. And my best friend was also the what do you call it, dietist? Dietitian. The dietitian, because she counted for me, she learned me, and I was regulating how, so we also measure the healthy and the calories as we had promised. But it was an amazing trip, because the patient, they actually, when we changed the thing, they started to, so the garbage was not so high. They were more happy. And we also give the opportunity to have a menu choice, and we prepare a different kind of salads. All the bread we of course was baked and produced by ourselves. So maybe today it sounds like nothing, but at that time in 96, a lot of things at the hospitals was frozen vegetables, a lot of preparing things from the industry, just so it was easy. And that we just throw it out, all of it. And the funny thing also was that the staff in the kitchen, the 45 people, they also grow. It was tough, but they grow all with their skills. And I remember when I started, the illness was about 10%, and it was going down to 1.5%. And every month we had a staff meeting. And I remember that I told them, I'm so happy that you are more healthy after I became here. So that that we have a lot of laughing of, and we have it was very, very funny, everything. And the patient, we also visit the patient, not every day, but we have some after 2 weeks or some, we put some of the chefs out at the department where the patient was, and then we're talking to them and discussing how was the food. And one thing I also learned at the hospital with all the nurses and the doctors was that they will call when they eat, they call it eat situation. And what is that? Yeah, I learned that there's a lot about how they were, what was people happy, not happy, what has happened. And I think if you have child, then you know, if you have kids, then you know that one day they love chicken, the next day they don't. And I also think as a grown-up, as an adult, you know, sometimes I don't want this today, I'm more for that. So it's quite interesting what a meal can do with you. It's also how you are by yourself, but also it's about what the food can do for you. At the same time I was there, I used a lot of time to go to school in the evening. So I took a diploma in management. Yes. Oops, oh, sorry. And I remember actually when I was at the hospital, the hospital was being 100 year. So there was a big, for nearly a whole week, a lot of events and functions to celebrate those 100 year. And we were working and working and working. And after that, there was actually a little event for the kitchen because the kitchen has done it so well. And then there was a speak for the kitchen where he said to us all, if you can make people enjoy, you haven't lived in vain. And this sense, I guess I have taken to me, because when you are in this industry with food and taste, then you have to be happy. You do people happy. People enjoy. That's also a part of it. You serve people. So I think if you I have it so deep in myself, if we have guests at home or in the restaurant or where it is, the best thing is when people say, the guest, friends or whatever, wow, it tastes so good. You are being so proud. So it can do something. So if you can make people enjoy, you haven't lived in vain. And also at that time, because after those years in the hospital, you were, of course, reflecting what you were doing, because it was quite a succeed to be the patients were happy. We also run the canteen, of course, for all the staff at the hospital, and they were also happy. And then I was thinking that I will always wanted to create value in a bigger perspective and try to make a difference, because the feeling you have after, if you can do that, it's much better than only give one person a good experience. So the hospital, all those people, patients, so many different kind of people, you have a little bit, you know them, you feel you know them, and you have given so much joy and happiness to them, and raise their understanding and level for food. So I thought that this was the mission, and therefore now going through the next step. And after that, I go to Fatsa, maybe, or Fasa, some is call it, but it is from Finland and it's actually called Fatsa. I don't know if you know it in Spain, because they are not in Spain, but they are in the Nordic countries, and they are also a little bit in most East Europe, I guess. Here I became a sales and product development manager, and I guess that it was the first job really where I needed to use all my more commercial skills, and I also needed to raise those skills, and I did, because I made a lot of offering in the canteen business. This is canteen business, you know, and the canteen business is where you as a company are outsourcing this service to another company who have the skills to do it.
So we run other people's canteens.
So we run all other companies' canteens. And as I also said, I was responsible for the raising for the good quality in the whole company. And I was wondering at that time, now we are back in 2000, it was very difficult quality from canteen and customer to customer. And I was thinking that's strange, because it comes from the same company. What are Fatsa's values? Shouldn't we have more equal values and standard for the quality? But I have a lot of discussion with the people who were more than me, but I guess I move it a little bit, but they also have this conclusion that if the company are not allowed or will pay more for it, then we just made a lower quality. And I really didn't understand this way of thinking, but what is then, do we have an A team and a B team, as I said, because some of the canteen was quite high level and some was not. So that gives me a lot of thoughts about those things. And in I was actually headhunting for this job, and I have told them from the start, if you want me, you have to know that I really are interested in high quality, in high food quality. It doesn't mean that it has to cost a lot with the produce, but we need to put hand skills, chef skills in the food. We have to train the chefs so they can have an onion or a carrot to taste wonderful, amazing. So that was the way that I was looking at it. If it's only about having the money to buy caviar, that's boring in the long term. So I was much more interested in the more normal produce and the everyday instead of the high end here. Okay, when I started in Fatsa, the turnover was about 100 million Danish crown, and we served 15,000 people every day. And 6 years after, then the turnover was 400 million, and I have been into each offer here, and sometimes also with my manager, the CEO of the company, Morten Hammereng. So it was a fantastic journey, and I learned a lot of Morten with how to negotiate, how to the numbers, to make budgets, to a lot of things. So I'm very happy of. So I could take it to my next step, my next journey. Yes, so that was a lot about FATSA, and just to say, when I leave it, we were cooking for 40,000 meals every day, so that was quite a huge, and the quality was much better when I left, but I was still not totally happy, because I have this discussion about why don't we have a level here and have the same value for all canteens? Yes. Then then we come to this man, Klaus Meyer. I don't know if you know him. I guess you do. He is the founder of Noma, the Danish famous restaurant, yes, and he is also the father of the Nordic Kitchen and the Nordic Manifesto. And when I was in FATSA, I was so, yes, I really was looking what he was doing, because I was seeing up to him. It was fantastic what he was doing. And I really dreamed about to work with him. And then it was like it was. He had also a smaller canteen company with a partner. They own it 50-50, and they split up. And that means that he needed a new CEO and a new partner. And I thought that this job I really would like to have. And then I actually, it was not put out the recruitment in public, but I found out that he needed a new one. And then I just write a letter to him, and I have put a little bit in this letter, and it says in the start, "Dear Mr. Meyer, we don't know each other, but I have a feeling that we should. And don't worry, it's not about dating, but catering." And then Klaus Meyer's personal assistant called me, and I was invited for a meeting. Yes, and after many meetings and so on, then we made a deal that I should be the new manager at the canteen business, and also a partner. I had a part of the company, the canteen company. So that was so wonderful, and I was so proud getting that job. I was also very afraid of not performing in the job, but it was a big dream for me. So I was so proud. So yes. So then a new journey was starting, and one of my mantra in that journey was, if you can measure it, we can control it. Because now you started to say how do we have control on the quality when we made food for hundreds or thousands or whatever, and maybe that's one of the keys for doing that, because we need to control. We need to make sure that how we want it to be, it actually also is at that level. So if we can measure, we can control it. And I think it is in many things. It's also how happy are your staff? How is the numbers, financial numbers? How is the quality in the food? Everything. When you make service, when people give feedback for the food, you have to measure something like that so you can see where you are. It's not only about what you think, what you think by yourself. So if you can build up, so therefore when I build up a company or build it, then I always think, is it possible to measure what we're doing? Because if we can measure it, then we can raise it, or we can, if it doesn't make sense for us and the guest or the customer, then don't measure it, then don't focus on it. So it's very important that you find out you should not measure everything, but if you are allowed to measure it and it makes sense because you are being clever, you can raise it. If you don't measure anything, then you don't know where you are. It's just a feeling in your stomach, and I love stomach feeling, but it's also good to have the numbers. Yes. But when I started in Myers, just to give a little insight in that, the company was in 100 million crowns, and the earnings was only 2 million. And in the whole Meyer group, there were only earning 700,000 crowns in 2008. And that was crazy. And I think that they don't know how to earn money. And I think I will fix that, because I really don't understand why it could be so bad. That I'm better understanding when I get into all the contracts, the canteen contract, where I could see that, wow, they didn't understand to make a contract. They were not good at negotiating. And so a lot of things I have to change. And I also, actually, there was a lot of the customer, we didn't quit them, but they have an ending time. And when they were ending, we didn't give a new offer for them because we couldn't earn money. So instead of that, I was more interested to have new customer in a new platform, in a new contract where it was possible to earn money. But back to when I started, there were about 20 canteens and 120 employees. And just saying something about, if you can measure it, you can control it. In Bayer, they told every customer that the organic was about 40%. And when I just visited those 20 canteens and the kitchen, I could see that was a lie. I could see it when only looking with my eyes, it was a lie. And then we actually measured it, and it was in 18%. Wow. And I of course show it to Herr Meyer and said to him, I think you have a big problem here, because the man you are and so known you are, you cannot say that, you cannot in marketing say that you are 40% organic and then only 18. That's not okay. So we were discussing this quite a lot, and of course we have to change. Also, I was also actually a little disappointed about the food profile in the canteens in Myers. I thought it was better than it was, and I also thought that they have totally control over their concepts, and it was a more equal concept. But no, it wasn't. There were also, as I told you before, about the Fatsa story, that was totally the same here. Yes. So, as you can see, there was a lot of things there was a lot of work to do. That's fantastic. It's not good if everything is perfect. So what to do then? So therefore, So therefore, I just started. And just to go into the canteen business, because I think it's very important to understand that in the canteen you have the same people eating every day. If you have a restaurant, they are not coming so often. Of course, you have some coming many times, but most people maybe come twice a year, 5 times a year. They don't come every day. And that means when you have a restaurant, you of course change the menu card maybe after the seasons or what you are doing, but you don't need to change this because the people are not the same every day. But in a canteen world, you have the same people every day. And that means that there are 3 things which is very important. And in the middle and over all that is of course the taste and the flavor. But variation is a big part of it. You also need to have healthy food. You are not on a diet, but if we cannot have a offering where people are gaining weight because that's not good. And then we also have to have a low price, and the low price is for the produce and everything, but a nice meal. So that's very important to understand what kind of things are in the canteen DNA, if you should call it that. And that also means why I explain this is because the variation is so important and huge that you can't have a recipe for everything. You cannot have, like you have a menu in a restaurant where this is the menu, you train the people, they know 20 courses or 10 courses or whatever, and then you change the menu card and then you learn new 10 or 20 courses. Here, you cannot test every little thing in the canteen because the variation is so huge. So you have to think the quality in another way. And I'll come back on that. Okay, so I'll go from there. We make a new target for the organic in Maya, 30%. And that we moved quite easy. We get a new understanding of the concept. It was called Eat with Ease. Klaus Meyer actually have written a book called that. And also when good taste and health unit and go together. And we of course implemented the concept in all canteen. And then we made a professional code of conduct. And I think that this code of conduct is one of the things that we actually are allowed to have the quality in that level that was happening. We were also focused on grow a new customer and new canteen. And in the end of that, also focus on earning money, because it was quite risk that Klaus Meyer had such many companies and he didn't earn anything. So that was quite dangerous. Yes. We made some cornerstones where there were 3 things. The product, as we just have talked about. Then, of course, the employee, how to train them, how to make something that we could train them to make sure that they could make the concept, and also the systems. And what a system? Yeah, that's, of course, the financial thing. How were you buying? What kind of produce did you buy? Was it at that level that we wanted? And a lot of documentation, reporting. And as we have talked about, if you can measure, we can control it. So that was the three cornerstones, and in the middle we have the vision and we have our values. We really want to raise the gastronomic level and promote Danish food culture. That was the big mission, and that was also a mission that Maya would love to have. So that was the way we worked. And we work with those values: presence, profit, and respect. And this is a little something about, it's on Danish, sorry, but it's not easy to translate, but it was the professional code of conduct. And I have to say it was a journey. When we started, it was about five pieces of paper, and when in 2016 or 17 or something, it was a little book. so it was totally fantastic how we raised this, and what we measure here. We measured what was our choice in meat, where does it come from, how much come from a cow, from a chicken, and whatever. What was the quality here? What was the quality in cheese and milk and so on? What was the quality in vegetables? So we have defined in every category what is the level. And I love this. I love to say it because we were working with the bottom level, and that sounds like you are in the bottom end. But if the bottom level is high, if it's super high, then your general quality will be super high. And I have also thought about many times that, you know, many are talking about one thing where they have a high level on, maybe they have a special salmon or a special something, it's very high end, and then in the other end you don't see you don't understand how can you use this at that level and then have so low quality in other places. And in my experience, I know that there are chefs, when they buy, produce, and so on, they will always have a meaning going higher. So that you higher the lower bottom is, you higher will the high level also be. So focus on the lower bottom level instead of the high level, because it comes by itself. Yes. It was also an organic journey, because nobody at that time were measure the organic, and people were actually laughing at us. It was in 2007-8, and there was IT eller finanskrise. There was the financial crisis, so nobody had focus on that. And I must admit that I sometimes thought, is it the right way we are going? Because people will not pay for it. And when I was out with the customer and they say, what will the price be if we don't want the organic part of it? And I said to them, it will be the same price. And then they say to me, how could that be? Because I don't want those organic product. And then I said, you have to, that's the concept. And I was really standing with that, with the concept, because I have now in so many years experienced that nobody did, and somebody has to do. And we did it. And it also means that when we in Denmark make those labels for organic food, and it was a trend to go into organic, and maybe it had a value, then all the other competitors, they just run after us. Yes. I guess that the time is flying for me, so I guess that I will I will speed a little bit up. We also had some bread in the canteens, where we have a very high level, and it means that we train and train people. And I guess that we serve more bread from the Meyer, and he had bakeries, so that was quite funny, I guess. Yes, just to move, yes. And then when I leave Meyer's, no, I'll just leave just this one, because I really like this this man who said the value of money depends on how it earns, and I agree so much. And I just will tell you, those years at Meyer's, of course I had focus on earning money, but again the taste was the first thing in my head, and also to have satisfied guest customer and also satisfied staff. And we raised totally automatic the earning, with everything high level quality we put in, then we raised the bottom line. So, and I think I have a better taste in my mouth to earn money if I feel I have done it in a good way. Yes, but the end for me at Meyer's, it ended with more than 80 canteens, and also into a new market, F&B contract business. We won actually the award to being the best canteen in Denmark 3 times. Have never done before for the same company. Yes, and in 2015, the Meyer's was sold to a private executive fund, and together with Lucas Mose, maybe you know it. And after that, I was a part of the selling, but the focus after that came on Excel sheets, a huge of reporting, and they want more and more EBITDA. And I think you could say it in one word: the magic disappeared. I was not happy there, so I left in 2017, because my values and what we have built up, what I with all a lot of, it's not only me, I have to say there were so many very good staff. What we have built up, I couldn't recognize it anymore. I was not happy with the direction we had. It was not this company that I knew, that I nearly feel was mine. But so I have to leave. So I leave, and I leave with a turnover for 450 million and an EBITDA for 35 million. So that was quite good. If we should have started with the 1 million and EBITDA per 2 million, then we should have about 10 million or something like that. So we raised the bottom line massive. Yes. But then a new journey should start. And skal jeg bare starte den, Philippe? Yes, and I'm so inspired about sustainability and how the climate is changed, and therefore I would like to show you a little film. Når du trykker videre, så går den i gang. Skal vi ikke gøre en stor skærm? Vi kan ikke gøre med det der. Sådan der. Okay.
Today I'm appealing for leadership from politicians, from business and scientists, and from the public everywhere. We have the tools to make our actions effective. What we still lack, even after the Paris Agreement, is the leadership and the ambition to do what is needed. And what makes all of this even more disturbing is that we were warned. Scientists have been telling us for decades, over and over again, and far too many leaders have refused to listen. And far too few have acted with the vision the science demands. And we see the results. In some situations, they are approaching scientists' worst-case scenario. The world's richest nations are the most responsible for the climate crisis, yet the effects are being felt first and worst by the poorest nations and the most vulnerable peoples and communities. Existing technologies are waiting to come online: cleaner fuels, alternative building materials, better batteries, and advances in farming and land use. And these and other innovations can have a major role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, so we can hit the Paris targets and inject the great ambition that is so urgently needed. Let us use the next year for transformational decisions in boardrooms, executive suites, and parliaments across the world. Let us raise our sights, build coalitions, and make our leaders listen. There is no more time to waste. As the ferocity of this summer's wildfires and heat waves shows, the world is changing before our eyes. We are careering towards the edge of the abyss. It is not too late to shift course, but every day that passes means the world eats up a little more, and the cost of our inaction mounts. Every day we fail to act is a day that we step a little closer towards a fate that none of us want. A fate that will resonate through generations in the damage done to humankind and life on Earth. Our fate is in our hands. The world is counting on all of us to rise to the challenge before it is too late. I count on you all.
Yes, amazing speak, I guess. And also a little bit scaring, not a quite big scaring, but the good thing is that we can't do something, but we have to do it now. And therefore, I have decided to contribute with everyone I can to positively contribute to a healthier earth within what I know, and that is meals. I imagine if we could make every leader do so, as he just has said. So that will be my next, or is my journey now. Therefore, Dorte, my partner, it's not only my partner in professional, she is also my partner private, because we are married and we have those 2 kids. And we have started up Luca, and Luca is love before cash. And you see, we have 2 small kids, and if the earth should be here when they get children, then we have to do something. So that's the way it is. So look at group. Now we come to look at group. What is look at group today? Look at group have 2 tracks, if we could say that. We have some restaurants, 3 restaurants we own by 100% by ourselves, and then we have a restaurant actually with Herr Meyer called Radio, and we are in different kind of quality. Yes, Studio is a gourmet restaurant. Almanac is a good bistro. Mission Green is a vegetarian opportunity to have fish, and then we have. Yes, and then we have a Radio. When it started, it called Little Maya or Little Noma. And then we have just in the end of last year started the lunchroom. And the lunchroom is our new take for the canteen business. It was ready to, no, Yes, it was ready to launch actually last spring, but because of Corona just started there, then we were not allowed to launch it. So we just launched it in November, December last year. It's quite important to understand the vision and the mission in Loka Group, because we want to create sustainability business model and economic growth with enjoyment, respect, curiosity, and willpower as the driving force in our concept. Services, product companies, and other activities we participate in. The mission. We will always be looking for new ways enrich people's foods, lives with new taste and experience that create joy and value, and where sustainability is the heart of the business model. Yes, so that is a really new DNA, all this sustainability, because if there should be something after us, we really need to take care of the climate and the earth. The restaurants, I just mentioned them. We can go through it quite quickly. We are in Copenhagen there. And then we have the lunchroom. And with the lunchroom, we also find a little word to say, every meal matters, which we want to have go again in the whole company. So that's our new slogan, or what we can call it. Every meal matters. And it is the everyday meals. It's also, if you are in a high-end restaurant, every meal matters, and we have to take care of this, so the climb wherever we are. We have made up a concept in the lunchroom where we will put down the CO2. Half is the measure. Yeah, we will reduce it. We have to find. We are right now trying to find how we are going to measure it, because that's not so easy. Some things are easy, but it will be a wonderful new journey. It will not be easy, but we will find a way to do it. And I have to say, it's better to do something that, and it's difficult. Yes, it is. And we will make fall and do something wrong. But if we don't do it, we don't know if it's wrong. So we have to start this journey to being better. Yes. That also means we will put down the meat volume will go down in this concept. We will not have anything called Monday free of meat or something. This should not be forbidden, anything, but we will think in a new way how to use the meat, because maybe we will have a little bit meat because we need the umami in courses, because we love the taste. So we are right now trying to create a new frame for meals, and of course, in all that, the most important thing, if we should eat it, is the taste, as it has been all in my journey here. And I know it's possible to make wonderful tasting food with a lower meat, and where we have respect for the climate. So that's our vision here, and the taste will be the compass in all what we will do here. Yes, and I guess that you know this model, and I think that sustainability for us is the triple bottom line. It's not only we have the three circles, and we need all of them, because there's a lot of doing maybe CSR is the call before, doing a lot of things, but they are losing money, or it costs a lot of money. And because maybe you are a rich man or woman, then you can go into some things where it costs money, and you are sustainability, or you do a lot of for poor people or whatever. But the point here is it's not sustainability if you are not allowed to earn money. So we will work with those three things, and we will not be perfect. And therefore, we also like what Leonard Cohen said, that there's a crack in everything. That's how the light comes in. So it will open our eyes to make form. Yes. So far, so good. So now I think that if you have any questions or whatever, please, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I was a little bit over time.
Merete, I mean, like, first, beyond anything, thank you very much for your time. I mean, like, it's been wonderful to see your whole journey. I mean, like, I already knew it. I mean, I already knew your career. I mean, like, we've been talking about that, but I mean, like, to see it, I mean, graphically, and to hear you, I mean, like, I have so many questions, and I can see, I mean, how you've been evolving through time. I love Loca. I love the values. I love the vision. Just a brief thing I already mentioned. I mean, like, the course that we have here, for example, the major in business innovation, we focus on essentially on service design to trying to identify needs within society. We try to bring open innovation as one of the values, one of the concepts in order to get inspired from other industries. And shared value from Porter is essentially we're trying to boost the idea of making business meaningful with a purpose, trying to achieve one of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I mean, like, trying to make business ideas, and all of them, actually, all the students are building that. We have, at this point, we have 6 companies that they're trying to build that and trying to pursue at least one of the objectives. And actually, by chance, we have one company within the group that is actually looking for developing a canteen service that can to tackle that. I mean, they're trying to figure out what are the needs that are working with companies here, and they're trying to identify those needs. What we're not only about sustainability, but also about HR, I mean, like, staff well-being, how food can be an engine for competitive advantage for companies. So it would be great in the future. Maybe they will have a couple of questions, perhaps, and they would like to learn from you. I have a lot of questions, but I would like to actually pass the micro to them, to the students, for them to talk to you directly. And after that, maybe I can ask a couple of questions. I have a question about the hospital time. I mean, like, I think that there is a lot of opportunities there that I'm surprised that we haven't tackled that area. I mean, you talk about a reduction from 10% to 1.5% on health conditions. You also talk about happiness. I have a couple of questions to talk about that. And also about the post-pandemic. I mean, how consumption will look like. I think that we're changing a lot and we are much more conscious. But I would like to pass the micro to the students, to Maria. Here she can ask you questions. You can talk to the camera there.
Hi, Merete.
Hello.
It was a pleasure to listen to you. I have a question. It's very easy. It's about your trajectory, and I would like to know if you think that your trajectory it was more difficult to be like a woman, maybe, or not.
Difficult to be a woman.
Oh. Yes or no, I guess. When I really started my, if you could say, business work, because when you are in the canteen, then you visit a lot of companies. So you come into many companies, and then you are in business. If you are in a restaurant, then the customer comes to you, and you are not in the environment, the same environment in business. Mm-hmm. And I think when I had this first trip in 2000 in Farsa, I found out that a lot of meeting I was in I was the only woman, and also being in big organization when we were meeting in the north with maybe the 20 highest C level, then many times I was the only one, or maybe there were two women. So I guess that it has been, sometimes I feel that I was very much alone, if I could say that, but I have also always told myself that it shouldn't be a problem, and I don't want to focus on me as a woman. I want to focus on me, what I'm standing for. The woman or a man, it doesn't matter. But I have to be even better than the man. Yes, but I think that without talking about equal or everything, going into another discussion, but I think that it's easier to have a career if you are a man, because men choose a man and so on, and you are so much alone in that world. I could also that was the only woman in this level. I was the only one. Also in the border meeting, they don't have women, and I think that's crazy, because a lot of food is actually. I guess that women are the most, that are the easiest people to change food. They are more interested in new food, in salads. They are more interested in how to being healthy than men are. So I think it's very interesting that in food companies that the women don't have a bigger say so. Yes. Is that the answer?
Es una pregunta. ¿Te respondió solo? Did she answer you? Yes. Did she ask?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. We're from another group, and we're developing a project which contains some canteens, and the question is to what do you think if food really makes a difference in a worker? So do you think a worker can be more productive or work better? Pero está bien. Depending on what he eats, or
could you please speak a little bit louder and say it again?
Sorry. Do you think a worker production can change?
Yes.
By what he eats? Like if he eats better or better quality, he is more comfortable and he can produce better. I don't know if you
Want to work better in the canteen, or
yeah, you think better service in canteens can increase the production of a worker.
but I think actually if the funny thing to making food is if you have the response with the guests immediately. and in all those canteens that I have that I know and I have been to, there were so many guests going up to the kitchen or out in the kitchen and say, "Thank you for dinner, amazing," or "Thank you." And you know, in every birthday or party at your home, if you have a party where people have a little meeting in the kitchen. So I guess, and they will want to go to the chef and ask, "How did you prepare that? Because I would like to do that at home on Saturday," or whatever. So actually, I think that the best you can do is to serve good food, because if you serve good food, then you have happy customer, and happy customer, they come back. And as I said, if if you can create a journey, then you will be a proud person. So I think it's this cycle. If you are doing a very well job, then it comes back to you immediately, and that also means that the staff, if they have a little bit interesting in food and what their job are, they will be proud, and they're so I think it's all about that. And of course you have a company where you can prepare, and you are possible to prepare and make the food in the way, in the quality that you want to serve. Does it make sense? Or?
Yes, thanks a lot.
Hi, I want to ask you, how could you manage to give like 40 when you said that when you were working in Pacer, you give like 40,000 meals a day. So I want to ask you if you think that it is possible. Well, it's like
They can't hide it. So it's so easy. And people love to be served. So if you are serving people and you really want to surprise people and your guests, then I think it goes, then it find out the way by itself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Questions? No? Okay, I have questions. Merete, hi. Now it's my turn. It's me now. I just gonna put my. Yes. You talk about the hospital. I mean, I find, although I've been working in, I mean, like previously to managerial responsibilities and all that, I've been working in high-end restaurants. I mean, like all my life, Michelin restaurants. I mean, like Geranium, all Christian Puglisi with Galea and all that. But I am fascinated about the volume that you, I mean, the impact. You talk about impact, and I realize that these restaurants, they may work good as a showcase to inspire people, to promote values. I think that Noma did a great job there, and many other restaurants, and not only Noma. But I'm surprised about, and one thing that I fall in love with Mayor's Canteen and your work is actual impact. We're talking about impact really in people's life, in the day-to-day. I love what you said about maybe you have this product, this high-end product, but it's so little impact. I mean, like, what about the rest of the people? I mean, like, what about all of us, right? Something that it seems so natural, you see, to provide good food to everybody. Like, for example, in educational institutions, schools, elementary schools, universities, and for example, hospitals. I mean, like precisely what you, I mean, like you work there. I mean, like a couple of days ago, I saw a documentary from Deutsche Welle, from the German television. They were talking about the highest impact, I mean, the high impact of good, healthy food to the health of people, you see, and you actually put numbers that, I mean, like that when in your experience, you actually saw how the disease reduction was from 10% to 1.5%. I mean, that's amazing, you see. My question to you is like, I mean, like, why is so little interest there? Because maybe in Denmark, you will see a lot of interest these days with the work that you've been performing. But in the rest of the world, it's actually something that is not something there. I mean, we still think that the high-end restaurants, that they are the only people, kind of like the only people allowed to receive high quality and clean food, sustainable food. Sustainable food seems something unreachable. And I'm talking about developing countries mostly. Mm-hmm. What is going on? Why people are paying so little attention to that? Because nutrition is not only about health in hospital, but it's also about the quality of education. I mean, for students to study better, you see, to learn better. What is going on there? Why there is so little interest? And will the pandemic change this? I mean, like, will the pandemic change the behavior, the consumption behavior? Are we looking for a better, a different way, a different approach?
It's a very good question. I think that one of the reasons why canteen and hospitals and so on is don't having the focus, or what we should call it, is because there are no prestige in it. and it's like cleaning or something. There's no prestige in cleaning, and that's the problem. And then of course, and I have also wondering, why is there not prestige in canteen business or in the hospital? And I really think that if you think about what is prestige in the restaurants, there are prestige in those restaurants who had a concept, who have they know what they are standing for. And when you come in there, you know what you get. You of course, you have maybe big expectations, but they also deliver. But I guess that my experience in the canteen market, the companies, they are fucking big, huge. Compass Group, Sodexo, I don't know if you have ISS, yes, and so on. And they in the past, they make the budget for what the customer dictate nearly the price and what they want. And I think that means that the company need to serve in many levels, in many things. So they don't have a strong culture. They don't have a strong meaning of what they are standing for. And therefore they cannot attract employee, because I will not be in a company where one day we should use very shit produce, and the other day I can use high-end produce. There must be a meaning with it. So if we need to build up the prestige in it. And I also think that it's funny in my business world here, the woman who asked me if I were a lonely woman there. But something I was wondering is that all people who have the biggest job in food and also in cleaning companies, they have an education in food, or in cleaning. I don't know if there are education in cleaning, and therefore they don't understand, maybe. They don't have the skills to understand what is going on. And I can also, when Maya was sold, this the equity fund, they I don't know if they didn't like me or I didn't like them. I don't know, but actually they don't like a background like a chef. They want MBAs. They want the But I could see that they really didn't understand the customer. They really didn't understand what food could. I could, of course, serve food to them and tell them, look at this, what we can fix with this. But actually, I'm not sure that they understand that. So I also think as long as we only have MBA or what we should call it in directing management our company, you have thinkers, you don't have feelers, you don't have the passion, the really passion what the product you don't have it. And I actually worked 1 year from 2007. I had 1 year, I didn't mention it here, in Sodexo, which I think you know Sodexo. It's a French company, and actually they start with only food, but nowadays, for many years ago, they also a facility company. And think about all those facility companies. It's not only the food they should have check on. They should also could clean, take care of the plants, take care of the reception, take care of everything. It will be lowest pate, or what you say. In Denmark, we call it leverpostej. No, but it will never be good, I guess. And I remember this year in Sodexo, where I actually also was the responsibility for offering and marketing, and also offering in cleaning. And at that time, the biggest hospital in Denmark, it was out, Sodexo had some of it. It was sharing by more than one supplier, and we should then make an offer for this. And I didn't knew anything about cleaning, but to find out to do it, I was actually have a dictaphone and ask the cleaning people, managers, how they do it. And I asked them question, what about, I could actually, I could try to understand it, and then I could give them question. I could ask, what about if we were doing like this? Will that be possible? And that was amazing good dialogue we had there, because I think I inspired them. And I also find out that an offer in cleaning is terrible how it is count out. There is absolutely no passion in it. And there is absolute no, I don't think that many cleaning companies train their people in cleaning in some standard. I really don't think so. And I think it's awful. And after that year, or actually we won this. It was a big offer I sent to them, and we won it. And they told me after, they have never had an offer so well done, prepared, describing how to do. It was so fantastic to read about. They could feel our passion, and I must say it was my passion because I was. But after that, I really thought that it could be easy to start a cleaning company, and you will win everything. But my love is in the food, so it's not my job. But just to say something, and I really think that the passion. You need the passion, and that also means that maybe many companies need the magic. I also remember I was this year in Sodexo. I was traveling a lot because we were meeting with people from the whole Europe. Nearly every week I had one traveling or two traveling days, and I remember I hated, there was so many PowerPoint slides. And I remember when I flight at home, I was thinking, I didn't knew I was working with food. It could be wheels, it could be anything. There wasn't a slide on food. There was numbers, and systems, but there wasn't what everything was all about, the real product. And it was actually it was an awful year for me, but it was good because I learned a lot about numbers. I learned a lot about how big companies think. I learned a lot about PowerPoint, but I also think that it was so poor, and it was nothing for me, but it was good to try and find out where not to work. So, and the world is made out of big companies. Yes, and many companies in this world, they are very huge. And I'm not saying that every company, because they are big, are like that. But I can only talk about my own experience. But I think We need more prestige in the hospitals. We need more. I could, if you go to a conference or a hotel, a big hotel, 3 stars, what can they do at food? They should serve everything. They try to serve every request instead of saying to them, no, you can't have this. We prepare this because this is what we are standing for. As I told this negotiation in Maya, that he asked me, what will the price be if we don't have the organic? And I said the same. That's what you have if you choose Maya. And he said no. Yes, you will. It was quite funny, but and I must say it was the finance crisis at that moment, and I have many nights where I didn't sleep because I was thinking, am I on the right way now? Should I just keep it in that way, or are we? Yes, because we need to earn money. Yes, so.
So
that would be an answer. I don't know if this, but another thing which also are very, very important. I have always said that beautiful is coming from the inside. So I think it's very important to use a lot of training and also systems for the staff. It's very important to train people what the values are, how we prepare food. So I must say that there were many training courses in Myers all the time, because we get new people in, so they should also on training. And that means that when you train people, then they tell the same story, and we had the same story, we had the same values. We also learned, we trained in sensoric actually, which you should mean that every chef know a lot about sensoric. No, they don't. Actually, they don't. They don't have many don't have the right balance in how, what are we missing here? What are we needing here? And I also think that in Maya, they loved when I was out in the canteen and eat, and they love when because they could. I was not a manager or a CEO who don't want to talk with the chef. I was like Maya. He also he is better with the chefs than with the border. If you in the board, yeah. Okay.
I mean, like essentially corporate change. I mean, like we need to take another view of business. I mean, like you mentioned, triple bottom line as something that we address at the mayor. Environment, social, and governance. I mean, how important is from the beginning of designing that business that cash profit is not the only objective. We need to think about the people. We need to think about the planet. You mentioned something super interesting about prestige within the high-end cuisine restaurants. As you know very well, I mean, like I've been working a lot on social development, and we have a group, a social development movement, and we talk a lot about that, the chef of the future, that entrepreneur of the future. I mean, what will happen in the future? I mean, like, and we talk a lot about the 50 best list, you know, where Noma was the best restaurant and many other restaurants, right? We think the values have to change. We need to go in another direction. We need to celebrate other type of entrepreneurs. I mean, not only the person. What would you say to that generation that is entering to the future, thinking about having a restaurant, and the 50 best as exists at this point, that it may change perhaps, or that celebration of about that prestige? What would you say to that future professional, that entrepreneur that will take those future decisions that will certainly condition the future, my future, your kid's future, maybe my kid's future too? What would you say to those future?
I really hope that they will think like we are going to do in Luca, and think about the climate, because it's awful. And I think that when René Redzepi started a burger restaurant. Right now, I think a man like him who had so big voice, so much prestige, everything, I really don't understand him, why he's doing that. I think it's a very, very wrong signal to send. And and this is for, I haven't talked to him about it, and I don't know him so much, but I know him. And I'm very, very disappointed that he go out and make a burger restaurant. Because he knows that every chefs are looking, seeing up to him to do. And right now, where sustainability feeling so much, I really don't understand it. I also think that we have to understand that I don't know how it is in out of Denmark, but in Denmark, if we take the Michelin level, where we are all chefs looking for those restaurants, there are quite a lot which have a rich owner, and they don't earn money. They lose a lot of money. And I don't think that in this world we are right now, it's not okay just to have a sponsor. I think that the prestige will move, because if you just give me 100 million crowns, or I can do what I want, and I can just use the money, is that prestige? I don't think so. I don't feel so. And I really hope that the agenda will change here, because if we look at the really sustainability bottom line, the 3 circles we just go through, then you have to earn money on your product, because if not, it's not a company. And you have to go good also for the climate. So I think when you're named Alkemisten, for example, in Denmark, we have a huge minus since they start. And also the head chef there goes out in Corona time and cook for the poor and tell about how sustainability and how good he are for the poor people. That's easy enough. That's easy enough to pay. If you're rich enough, you can pay to be a good man. But that's not sustainability. So I think that it's very important that this reflection and discussion will be discussed, so people can open their eyes and understand what is up and down in this.
As they say, doing well by doing good, right? I mean, like, the thing is that balance. I mean, as you mentioned, triple bottom line, people, profit, planet. We need to develop business that they actually provide value.
Michelangelo, you have worked for Maya, and then you maybe also know that he had a lot of companies, he had a lot of activities, which was a minus. Most of it was a minus, but nobody have found out really. But I think that if you should be a succeed company, then you should not be a capitalist and just money before everything. It's not about that, but you have to earn money, because if you don't earn money, you are not a company. Yes, then you live on other people's mercy. So I think that's quite important, and I also think that if you were a chef.
Merete, unfortunately, the time has run. I mean, it's been crazy amazing. I have actually more questions that I would like to do. I mean, but not now. It has already I mean, I really, from everybody, thank you very much for everybody connected. I think that it's a good, I mean, not only a good source of inspiration, but a different one. Sometimes we only focus on that prestige, the one that we consider prestige these days. And it is a good opportunity right now. I think the pandemic is giving us an opportunity to see food, to see the business in another way, and to try to build that future, as well as you say. I think that it cannot be easier these days. We have the information, we have the science, we have the steps to move forward, we have even the objectives to achieve. We even have actions and KPIs to achieve those objectives. I mean, like, I don't think that is easier at this point. I think we can take those and be ethical, because I think business is the answer, but ethical business is the answer for the future. And I think that, I hope that we're going to move in that direction. And all the team here, I think is looking for the same. And thank you, Merete, for your time. I have not much to say. I don't know if you want to do a couple of words.
You are welcome. It was a pleasure to be here. And just a few questions about the challenge. Are we just making a break and then start up again?
If I think it's better. I mean, we can make a break and we can see in a few minutes, and you can prepare the challenge, so you can.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Merete. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you.